Hello everyone, welcome to the 21st of February. Oh, I have not updated the names. This is a very special event. We're going to be drawing Claire's mama and Peter Sara photography because it's their 50th wedding anniversary. Happy wedding anniversary, Mum and Dad. Congratulations on being together so long. Cassidy says this photo is so cute, and it is so cute. Just look at them. Look at that. Look at that hair. Look at the style. And they're like so little. Like the last time I consciously looked at this photo, they must have seemed much older to me than they do now. It's really, really cool to see them with confetti on them and stuff, and looking all how they're looking. So what does that make it? 25, 75. They also got married. They are not visiting. They visited last year, Kiki. Which was very nice. And I was thinking of drawing them now because now they're also great. But I asked Claire, my dear sister, if she has any photos of them from the wedding, and she's found this one, and I thought it was very cute. And I also thought it would be an interesting opportunity to draw full figures. And I'm going to still keep it fairly reduced, still pure line style. Laura is here, Tommy, Maria, Rachel, AG1232, Louisa, so good to have you here. Congrats to my mum and dad. I'm presuming they're going to watch this. They'll be asleep at the moment. But I thought this school, because I don't get to spend much time with them, but I'm still very connected to them. And I don't get to go to the anniversary lunch with my family, but I thought this would be a nice way to do a little something for them. You can all tag them, and then they'll be able to see in the morning that all these people have drawn them, which I think will be kind of a nice present. Hi Lilo, Astrid, Dale, hello. So as I said, still keeping it pretty reduced, perfect line mode, and we have German family over at the moment, so I don't want to be antisocial because I like hanging out, drawing on my computer more than anything. It is so amazing that people can live together that long. It's pretty good. Yeah, so they were here last year, and I got to witness them, their way of being, and there's some interesting patterns that they have. But in general, they're pretty good. We love them a lot. Yeah, so good. So they came over to visit, and they're like, "Oh, while we're here, let's go on an epic train journey to through Austria and Italy." So that's what they did. All right. So this will be a bit different. The portrait's going to be much smaller, but it's a really low-res photo, so that's okay. Hi, Ronnie. I'm starting my pencil spread because I just finished the ink spread yesterday. So returning to pencil, I have this one, which is, I can't remember, something turquoise, 149, but it's a nice dark blue. So I put my little clock thing on, see what I'm doing, how long I'm doing, and just start drawing. And I was kind of wondering, I thought this would just be interesting to keep, look at this hair, like this incredible hair. It'd be interesting to keep it this really reduced kind of line. This is almost, we're going back to the continuous line at the moment. It doesn't have to be a continuous line. But yeah, the one we did a couple of days ago, where the reference photo was like the full torso with the arms, I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to draw a bit more of the figure. It was a really nice image, but it kept it to the portrait. But here, just like look at this style. so amazing. And this is a fun one to draw the whole figure. And I was thinking, looking at people in their clothing can often be a really interesting result in a really interesting line drawing. So yeah, mini portrait here today. Oh, it's so small. Hope you can even like see it. There we go, a bit closer. The beard, yeah. The beard. Oh, Dad. Dear old Dad. Dad used to be a motorbike rider back in the day. So yeah, this must have been 75 that they got married. And they got to have a few years without me. I was born in 83. And yeah, I don't know. What was everyone else doing in 75? It's interesting. If I were good at math, I'd be able to tell you, or maybe someone could tell me how old I don't know, because you don't know how old my parents are. Dad was 31 when he had me. Well, Mum had me when they had me. I know that Dad was 31, Mum's 4 years younger, so she was 27. That makes them what in this photo? Apart from cute, but it's kind of strange to to look back at these photos that I remember looking at them as a kid, being like, oh, look at them, and then to be like, oh, wait, I'm way older now than they were in this photo. It's funny, the whole time traveling. Why is this so small? Let's get in a bit closer here. The same year you got married, Dale. Wow. 19 and 23? Really? Louisa, are you sure? Oh, how old are they now? 75 and 77? Are they? I find it difficult to retain and work with numbers. I'm sure it's a learnable skill. And just as I have learned to draw, I could probably learn to remember numbers and figure things out and stuff. But I have it's challenging. So this kind of line drawing, observational drawing, the whole time I'm drawing, I'm just trying to. I fortunately, well, it's a bit of a help to have the reference right alongside here. So a lot of the kind of the decisions in the vertical axis are helped where to put things just by looking over from left to right. And I'm just like constantly looking at where to put the lines, trying to mimic angles and distances and directions, using things that I've already drawn to figure out where to put other things. And it's just like this constant exercise of just checking in, seeing where things are. Oh, look at this, the way this like angle coming out of the back here. What's going on? Is that the wind? I don't know. But this is this cool spiky tail thing sticking out here. So my parents, 31 minus 8 is 23. Are you sure? Thank you. 23? Amazing. Thanks for the numerical support. I've explained this on Tuesdays once, or maybe more than once, that when I feel like sometimes kind of like everything slows down, and when people start talking numbers, even if it's really important, like it's so hard for me to keep up with what's going on. But if I'm excited to have friends that are good at math, and to think that I'm sure it's something I could just learn. I can apply myself to it. I can begin afresh. I can keep learning. That neuroplasticity is a thing. We can keep learning. All right, I'm not going to keep going further for now because I'm zoomed in here. How old am I? 41 at the moment. Next month I'll be 42. Timey-wimey is a wibbly-wobbly, and that is about as good as your maths gets. So look at this. Look at this, very, very reduced. This is just a few lines. A few time-traveling lines. So my parents, I was born as well where my parents lived. I'm pretty sure they would have got married there. They moved around a bit. We moved around a bit, but where I think this photo was probably taken is in Whyalla, which is in Bangala country, in so-called South Australia. And that's where I spent the first 7 years of my life. Love you, Mum and Dad. They've, 50 years, been through a lot together. So, don't have to worry too much about the likeness here. I'm not too worried about it. It's the vibe, catching a vibe. And what a lovely vibe it is. Yeah, so it's an interesting puzzle piecing things together. Just this, always looking, where does this thing connect to this thing, and each shape, each consecutive shape that we draw can use the pre-existing shapes, or la Lewis, using whatever has already been drawn to make decisions about where to put the next thing that we're drawing. And I really enjoy this process. It's like putting a puzzle together and just expanding and filling in the blanks, and then each next part is somehow in relation to all of the pre-existing parts. And eventually it looks like a thing. And this is something which of course takes practice, but it's something, I have other videos. There's one that's called Tips and Tricks for Drawing by Eye. I think that's what it's called. It's my most viewed live stream replay, where I talk through my observational drawing process and what's going on, the decisions I'm making, how things are lining up with other things, and the eyes just constantly flicking around, looking where to put things. And it is it's a journey. It takes time and passion, practicing, but I find it super rewarding. It's like, for me, it's the most fun way of drawing, just this puzzle, putting things together, just adding each additional piece in relation to the pieces that came before it. And I just find it such a enjoyable way to draw. What is this thing? It's like whoosh, some white thing whoosh, coming out here from the bouquet. That's a nice little design feature. What a dress. What a ceremony. What a tradition. Mine was very different. It was small. Well, we invited a lot of friends, but we kept it. We celebrated in a friend's garden, and we were going to go traveling. So we're like, don't give us any gifts, please. Bring some food. And we had a really good barefoot hippie wedding in a friend's garden in central Germany. And I think, it's Dad's a wedding photographer. He was a wedding photographer, and one of my first jobs was going along with him and carrying his gear. And I got to experience a lot of different weddings. Hey, Sabra. Yeah, congrats to them. It's very cool. Let's give them some legs. Yeah, so there was actually something, I don't know, I asked Claire what it said, but there was this is like a crop from an old I don't know what, but it said something just above it about Dad being doing oil painting and sketching. And yeah, that was he had a phase of painting. And when I was young, we did some painting together, and he gifted these paintings. He did like maritime, there were some ships in them, but like coastal. They were very much had an affinity for the coast. We lived at the coast, and Dad had some great paintings of just like the rocky shoreline and the coastline. And he's a photographer. And then he didn't do much painting for a long while. And then after I travelled, I think when I was about 11 maybe, we did an oil painting together of Blinky Bill. And I painted this cartoon koala, and he did this, I thought, and I'm sure it still is, pretty amazing, like eucalyptus trees in the background, and he did like this awesome landscape, and I did this cartoon koala in oil paint in the foreground. And it was this collaborative painting that we did, which was fun. And then after I travelled, so I had this thing for a while. I was like, I don't want to be a starving artist. I'm going to do architecture. And then I studied architecture, and then I was like, technical drawing, get me out of here. And then I went and travelled and didn't come back. And I thought the travelling was going to inspire me to come back and finish my architecture studies. Let's put some confetti on here. So here's pretty much the drawing is done. This line drawing. We can put some confetti on them. So this, I think, is like pure line. Yesterday I was like, is this pure line, using all these different kind of things? Like, this is a very minimal, clear kind of way of drawing, and I think fits nicely into the idea of pure line. And somehow the verticality of it, the folds in the fabric, and the long legs and the style. I feel like it lends itself nicely to this kind of line approach. So I thought I won't be a starving artist, I'll be an architect. And because my art teacher, I was kind of like, I don't know what I want to do after school. And I had a really amazing art teacher. I loved him and still do. And he was like, well, how about you do something which is still creative, like industrial design or architecture or something. And then you're still doing something creative and but it has like an end product. So you're applying your creativity in service of some end goal, which is the building or the toothbrush that you're designing or whatever. And it was like, oh, interesting. Okay. So then I went and studied architecture, and then the people that I felt in my course studying architecture were doing the coolest work, and the people that I liked were like, they had left and they'd gone and traveled and then they come back. Well, I liked a lot of people there, but there were a few people in particular that I remember that they just had like a different perspective. They had been out to the world, they had seen things, they brought a real a different level of experience and understanding to their studies and their designs in architecture. And I was like, oh wow, maybe that was started me thinking, oh, maybe it'd be cool to travel to get inspiration. And then there was a phase where I was like, oh, I'm really kind of feeling drained by all of this technical drawing. And I thought, if I went traveling and got inspired by the architecture of the world, then maybe I would come back and just rock my architecture studies. And in the process of going away and then having almost no money when I left, and then I was like, oh, I need to work now, and I stayed longer and longer and longer and longer, and then I postponed my studies, and in that time I was like, oh, there are lots of things happened that led me to a place where I was like, I think I'd be happy to do art actually. We can, if any of you studied architecture or have stories about how you got into art or how you left art and came back to it, or maybe you've just started, it'd be interesting to hear some of your stories as well. And when I came back, that's what I was going to say. When I came back, I was like, hey Dad, let's do a drawing class together. And then we did, I think it was just 6 weeks, like once or twice a week maybe, we would go down to Adelaide together, and we went to this drawing class, and it was really cool. Laura Willis was teaching, who does amazing art, and it was just so cool spending that time with my dad drawing together. Liad! It looks like she's holding a white samurai sword. Yeah, it does. I abandoned painting and I'm a drawer. Perhaps I will return to painting a stronger painter for all of the drawing. Who knows? It's still like a desire. I love painting. This is so, I can just come here, bam, 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 bam. It's done. I can leave the stuff here. That was 20 minutes. Look at that. 20 minutes since I put this timer on. 10 minutes each, Mum and Dad. 10 minutes of love and attention. And much, much more. A lifetime's worth. 50 years. 100 years. They've shared 100 years together. That's 50 years each. 100 years of being married. Wow. Amazing. Leslie, you enjoy my teaching style. Thank you. When I'm doing stuff like this, it doesn't feel like teaching. It's just like rambling and drawing and having fun. But if I'm able to impart something that helps you on your way to drawing and understanding, then that's wonderful. Leslie left art while raising kids. and then strictly painted landscapes. Started portraits about 4 years ago. Loving it. Oh, it's stressful at times. That's so cool. So cool that you got back to it and that you're getting into portraits. Yeah, it can be challenging, but it's so much fun. I'm glad to have you here, Leslie, drawing with us. Liad went to art school and wanted to be a comic book artist. Cool. But so cool that you got into storyboarding. Like, the stuff I've seen of yours is so cool, and how you're an amazing painter. But yeah, went to art school. So you've like stayed in that kind of trajectory somehow. I guess from art school to storyboarding. Yeah. I thought when I was growing up, I thought I want to do cartoons when I'm big, and because I loved cartoons so much and comics, and I thought it would be so cool to do cartoons, but it's something that I didn't do. Daniel says, yes, they are. Portraits are fun. They're so fun. So here, very little portraits, very cute, newlyweds, back in 75, 100 years ago. Oh, so cool. Love you, Mum and Dad. Happy anniversary. Wish I could be there, but I have enjoyed this time looking at you both, and loved having you over to visit last year. You're so good. Yeah, shifted around a bit. It's really cool, Liad. It's there's a lot in the world, a lot on the path. So that's really cool. Thanks for being here, everyone. Tomorrow, probably 9 o'clock, we shall see. We do have family visiting, not my parents, German family are visiting. And if it's later, I would just get on and be like, oh, gonna be drawing a bit later, like today. So it was really fun. I'm glad you were able to tune in half an hour later. And yeah, happy anniversary, Mum and Dad. Thank you for meeting each other, making babies, living your life, doing everything that you do. We love you so much. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining me. Tag my mum and dad on Instagram. Dad, I don't know if Dad looks very often, but what do we got here? Well, Claire's mama is also Dylan's mama, by the way. And Peter Sara Photography. And you can tag me too. I'd love to reshare your drawings. I'd love to see them. I'd love to see your drawings of my parents. You can put your drawing hand emoji in the chat if you made it all the way to the end, just like Tommy. Thank you very much. Drawing hand. If you have to put the text input, it actually says writing hand, but writing, drawing, same thing, right? See you tomorrow. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. And I look forward to more drawing with you. Share on the Discord server too. If you're not already on the Discord server, we're over 170 people now. It's really great. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And we'll just keep going and keep making stuff together and hanging out and drawing because it's so much fun. Thank you for those drawing hands. Thank you for the time that we share. You're all awesome. And let's just keep doing this. Let's just keep drawing every day. And maybe there'll be some painting in the not too distant future as well. Because I do like painting as well. All right. Take care, everyone. I can't wait to see your drawings of my parents 100 years ago.